Zach here. I'm going to do a review on the Fjallraven Down #1 jacket. I've had it for 5 years now, maybe even 6. I've worn it for most winters. There were a few winters where I was away traveling, but for the most part it's been my go-to jacket and has replaced every other jacket I have had, which was the idea in getting it. I decided I was tired of replacing my jackets every few years, whether it was wear or it was mostly wear or just cheap materials and threads coming loose and all this stuff. So I was set and ready to buy something more expensive that would last a little longer, and Fjallraven came through in the end. Back 5 years ago they hadn't quite come into North America, so it was hard to actually try on it before I bought it, but eventually I was able to and ordered it online. It was all good. For sizing, I'm a size medium. This is a medium. The only thing I've noticed with Fjallraven specifically with their sizing is it's meant for a Scandinavian build, not a stocky Canadian build. So for example, for their pants, they're always tight in the thigh area for me, and they're always too long. For their upper garments like coats and sweaters, they seem to be a little longer in the arms, and a little not as much movement in the chest area that I would like. And that's the one con I do have with this coat that I have noticed is in the chest area it is somewhat restricted, especially if I have a sweater on, which most of the time I do. I just have a t-shirt on right now for this video, but most of the time I have a sweater on out in the winter in Canada here, and it pinches here and just restricts the movement and the breathability. You start sweating because there's not enough air circulation, and it's not great. It kind of reminds you like when you're 6 years old and all bundled up ready for school or whatever. So that's one con I do have. Now as far as the fabric goes, the G1000, it's been great. Having actually now tested it for 5 years, it served the purpose that was one of the main reasons why I bought it, was this 70% cotton, 30% polyester blend. It moves well, it's flexible, it's soft and comfortable, and it also dries quick. You can apply the wax finish, which I have done several times to this jacket over the years, and it works great for keeping off the rain and snow and all of that. It does inhibit on the breathability, I found, but you kind of got to weigh the pros and cons there. What else do we have here? There are only 2 wear marks I have gotten in the last 6 years almost. You can see on the sleeve here there's a bit of a hole, and it's the same on the other side here. So I think what has happened is going in and out of my pockets constantly, especially if I'm walking around. Usually my hands are tucked in my pockets to keep warm, or up here, or my pant pockets. I think it's just worn with whatever. Actually, now that I think about it, it might be the button. Oops, it might be the snap that's exposed right here. That constant wear, I'm not sure. But that's the only wear marks. The only other ones are my fault, and that was a few weeks of owning it. I was having a fire. I threw the jacket aside because I was getting hot, and it was face upwards, and a couple sparks landed on the backside, and quicker than a second it burnt a hole through the nylon that they have for the inner shell. So that was my fault. But with that being said, I'm surprised that these companies haven't developed a better material for the inside. And I understand that it's soft, it's comfortable, but if I have my jacket open walking through the bush even, I have to be careful it doesn't snag on anything, and that's kind of annoying. One of the reasons I bought this jacket was it did have the down liner, but it also had the canvas shell, so it provided me protection from walking through the bush, from doing chores or whatever, working around the garden. Not that there's a garden in winter, but you know what I mean. And but it also had the warmth that the down provided, so it did meet those requirements I had in this jacket. But it's just annoying that I still have to be careful at the end of the day. If I have the jacket open, I have to be careful of the inside nylon. The nylon also poses an issue when you have your hood on. The material itself brushes against your toque or your hair or whatever you have up there, and it's really hard to hear. Like I can't even hear the birds out there right now, and the traffic and all that. It's all is so scratchy. If someone's walking beside me, I have to every time take off my hood, have my ears freeze. So the hood is a bit of a bummer. They could have thought that out a little more, but with that being said, you throw your hood on and you do up your zipper all the way. This collar here, it's great. It keeps out the wind and the snow and all that. And you can kind of burrow your face down in there. The leather lining that is on the rim of the hood, it doesn't interfere. It doesn't scratch up your cheeks or mouth or anything, so it's nice and soft. So that's well thought, and that's quality materials they've used there. It's just annoying that, yeah, in order to actually hear what's going on, you have to take the hood off, from what I've found. I've gotten into the habit of doing up the bottom button every time I put it on, mostly because I'm worried about any tension that is caused here. I'm worried that it will do harm to the zipper, so I've just gotten into that habit, doing that button up. Same with the buttons on the cuffs. I have to release them every time I put my coat on to fit my hand through, and then just button them up. That's not a huge issue though, it's just something I've gotten used to. And then other than that, that's the practicality side of things that I've noticed over the last 5 years. And yeah, you might be wondering about warmth because I'm freezing right now. It's not as warm as like a parka, say. It's -10 right now maybe. And because I'm actually not moving and I just have a t-shirt on, I do feel it a bit. I've had it down to -20, and that's usually when it starts losing its comfortability, like with a sweater. So anything under that, you know, they have a parka line that takes care of -10, 20, 30 degrees better than this would. But for an all-around jacket, for in and out of the city, in and out of the bush, this one has been what I hoped it would do for me. So I'd recommend it. I'd recommend the G1000, and Fjallraven have a few other products, including their pants here I'm currently wearing, and they've stood by their durability and their eco-friendliness. So thumbs up to them, and see you at the next one.